Hello friends, it's been a little while since we made one of these videotape messages, and so we're getting back in the groove. Today I'd like to speak about the coming back to school and all that fills that moment, if you wish. Since we've begun this pandemic, we've all sensed a generalized feeling of vulnerability. We're not in control. We don't know how this is going to evolve. We don't know where it's going to show up next. We don't know. And that fills us, all of us, with a certain amount of worry, of fear, even great fear. It's also brings us to have a sense of looking at our neighbor sometimes not always kindly, of divisions popping up here and there in this time of uncertainty. And so that's a generalized feeling. And then every once in a while there are moments that vulnerability is felt even more. And certainly the return to schools, to elementary schools, to high schools, to university, that's a moment right now where we're feeling that heightened vulnerability. You know, it's the parents of a grade 2 student. How do I know my child is going to be safe? How do I know that there's no way that they'll catch the virus, and then bring it back to our family with our grandfather who's, really feeble? How can we be sure of that? And so, a lot of vulnerability. And so, in moments of vulnerability, which are moments of, yes, lack of control, but they can also be then moments of humility. And humility together leads us to greater cooperation and actually greater strength. I mean, we put our faith in God, and then because of our faith in God's love, the power of that love at work in us, we put faith in one another, we put faith in our health systems, we have faith. We choose to have faith, and so we're people of hope. And now that can play itself out, then I think in this moment of going back to school, opening the schools, continuing, schools much more in the normal way than certainly before, when, it was all shut down, all virtual, that time. And we hope that time will not come back again. I think to be people of faith in God, in one another, people of encouragement, that's something for the children, that's something for the parents and families, that's something for the teachers and staff. And so let's say I'll address myself at this point to the children, and whether that's, you're in grade 3 or you're in grade 10, what I'd invite you to is to think about this. All right, so school looks really different, really different. And so the question is, do you, shall we say, go with the flow, or do you complain all the time that it's not like it used to be, that it was more fun when we could all play outside in the recreation space and just run all over the place. There's limits, there's differences that you have to adapt to. And actually, I believe this time for young people, you're being called to a greater responsibility, maturity, than young people at other times. You're having to also, whatever your age, step up to the plate. Be a person who encourages, who tries to make sure it's safe for all your friends. So we're talking about the distance, we're talking about the masks, we're talking about all sorts of things. And especially, should there ever be COVID in your school, and it's possible, it's happening here and there, that you never, never, never turn against one another. Bully, Facebook, all the ways in which suddenly someone becomes a bad person and their family is a bad family and all of that. Never. Refuse to do that. Refuse to do that. Encourage each other by your careful friendship, your friendship taking care of one another. For the parents, I'm going to say the same message, that you be people of encouragement within your circle of friends, of families, because schools are communities of families, and you have your circle of friends within the greater school community, that you encourage one another, that you call to confidence. I'm not saying blind confidence, but what I'm saying is a general sense of confidence that you choose to place in the staff of that school, in the public health efforts behind it, in the efforts of the good in people's hearts everywhere, to make it as safe and as learning and as helping children to grow as possible. So again, to be people of encouragement, not the naysayers. They should have done this and they should have done that, and you stir the cup of resentment and niggling. But you be people of encouragement. And if you see ways in which it could be improved, well, you propose it. You're part of bringing it forward, all right? We're together. And then to the teachers, I just want to say a huge word of thanks, first of all. It has been so encouraging from the outside. I'm not in the school world, to see all of the efforts that you've done. Huge efforts in a short time to make it as good and enriching as possible, as safe as possible for your students. I have a niece who's a kindergarten teacher in Prince Albert, and she was explaining to me some of the things she was having to do in her class, as she was going to receive all these little people that would come flooding into her class. And so a huge word of thanks to you. And really, the encouragement that you can give to one another. I hope the students, by their appreciation and their friendship and their love, encourage you. I hope that the parents, by their support, their gratitude, their walking with you in all of this, that they encourage you. And I simply invite you to, again, encourage one another. I take this moment to thank all of the teachers and staff in our Catholic schools here in Winnipeg, both in Saint-Boniface and in Winnipeg dioceses, and to really thank you. You're giving a witness of your faith. I'm going to put it that way. You're giving a witness of your faith. Jesus is amongst us, alive, helping us in this time of vulnerability to stay strong in love, to bring the strength of unity and harmony, mutual support, encouragement, just the love of God in a very practical way, as you, especially the teachers and staff, you take care of these young people. You're taking care of them even more now, and you're doing it out of so many, I'm going to say all the teachers. It's not a job, it's a vocation, and you do it out of love for the little ones, for the ones that are more vulnerable. And I really, really thank you. So, yeah, we're living a different time, heightened anxiety. Let's carry one another. as God carries us all.